Okay, let's get into it. Today we're doing a deep dive into, well, a really different way of thinking about money based on these lessons from uh, two very different dads.
Yeah, it flips a lot of conventional wisdom completely on its head.
Totally. So our mission really is to pull out the core ideas, the definitions that kind of separate the rich from the poor and middle class, at least according to this source material.
Exactly. And the central conflict it highlights is pretty striking. The main reason people struggle with money isn't that they aren't smart or don't work hard. It's because, you spend years, decades even, in school.
Learning nothing about money.
Precisely. You learn how to work for money, absolutely. But the key thing missing, learning how to make money work for you.
And that whole tension started right at home for the author. You've got his actual dad, highly educated, PhD, the quote-unquote poor dad.
Right.
And then his friend Mike's dad, the rich dad, who dropped out of school in 8th grade but built this whole empire.
It creates this amazing contrast, doesn't it? It forces you, or forced him rather, to not just accept one view. He had to really think, compare, choose a path.
Yeah, you couldn't just ignore one or the other. You had to look at the results of their thinking.
It wasn't about who was nicer or, smarter in the traditional sense. It was about which way of thinking actually built lasting financial freedom. That's the power here.
So let's dig into that mindset difference first. Segment 1. The philosophies were just poles apart.
Oh, completely.
Poor dad's view was kind of traditional, almost moralistic. The love of money is the root of all evil.
And rich dad, he flipped it right around. The lack of money is the root of all evil. That difference shapes everything.
Absolutely. Like their advice on careers. Poor dad. Study hard so you can find a good company to work for. Standard advice, right?
Very standard. But rich dad's advice was, well, revolutionary for the time. Study hard so you can find a good company to buy. See the difference. Ownership versus employment.
Huge difference. And even how they talked about having kids. Poor dad kind of saw them as a burden, financially speaking. The reason I'm not rich is because I have you kids.
Oh.
Whereas rich dad saw it as motivation. The reason I must be rich is because I have you kids.
It's about responsibility, but from a place of ambition, not limitation.
That framing is everything, and it leads straight into maybe the most practical habit rich dad taught, changing your language, poor dad would often say.
I can't afford it.
Right. And rich dad insisted that phrase just shuts your brain down. It's an endpoint. Mental laziness, he called it.
Okay, so I can't afford it is out. The alternative, how can I afford it?
Yeah.
What does that actually do mentally?
It forces engagement. It turns your brain on, it makes a search for solutions. It's like a workout for your financial mind. I can't is defeat. How can I? Opens up possibilities, maybe new income, maybe cutting costs differently. It's exercising the mind, which he called the most powerful computer.
Exactly. You got to exercise it daily to make it financially strong.
And they learned this early on in a pretty tough way, right? That first job story, working for Mike's dad, 10 cents an hour.
Oh, yeah. Brutal.
And then finding out they weren't going to get paid at all.
Yeah, the source describes how furious they were, ready to quit. But rich dad wanted them to feel that frustration, that anger, that desire. That was the point.
So the lesson wasn't just about pay. It was
about not blaming the boss, not blaming the situation. It was about using that powerful emotion for your desire to step back and think, okay, how do I change? How do I learn from this? How do I make money work for me?
That takes real energy, though. Passion, desire, like you said. And fear plays a huge role, too, right? Fear keeps people stuck.
Totally. The fear of not paying bills, fear of getting fired, fear of, things going wrong. That fear keeps most people working for money, essentially becoming slaves to it.
Okay, so escaping that slavery, that cycle, it hinges on what Rich Dad called his only rule. Sounds simple, maybe too simple.
It does sound simple. You must know the difference between an asset and a liability, and then buy assets. That's it.
But the definitions are key. He kept it super simple, right? KISS principle.
Absolutely. An asset puts money in my pocket, period. A liability takes money out of my pocket. That's the filter. The problem, he argued, is the middle class keeps buying liabilities they think are assets.
Okay, hold on. Because this is probably the single most argued about point in the book. The house. We're all taught.
Yeah.
Your home is your biggest investment, your greatest asset.
Right. Conventional wisdom.
But Rich Dad flat out says, my house is a liability, and if your house is your largest investment, you're in trouble. How does that work, especially with equity?
It's a pure cash flow perspective. Forget appreciation for a moment. Just look at the monthly flow. Does your primary home, especially with a mortgage, put money in your pocket each month?
No, definitely not. Taxes, insurance, mortgage payments, repairs,
Yeah.
money flows out.
Exactly. Money flows out. So by that simple definition, it's a liability. And the trouble part comes from the opportunity cost. If all your capital is tied up there.
You lose out elsewhere.
Right. Rich Dad identified 3 key losses. Loss of time. Time your money could be compounding in real assets. Loss of capital money, constantly drained by house expenses. And crucially, loss of education. You have no spare cash to actually learn about or make real investments. You're just feeding the house.
That really clarifies things when you map out the cash flow patterns he described. Like, for a poor person,
Income comes in from a job
mm,
and immediately goes out to expenses. Rent, food, transport, nothing left over.
and the middle class, they look richer, maybe have a higher income, but
But their income also flows out to expenses,
Yeah.
and they keep adding liabilities. That bigger paycheck just means a bigger mortgage, a nicer car payment, more credit card debt. The money flows through them to pay for liabilities. They're stuck in the rat race.
running faster on the wheel but not getting ahead.
Precisely. Whereas the rich person's pattern is different.
Their assets generate the income.
Yes, the asset column, real estate, stocks, businesses, whatever, throws off cash flow. That income covers expenses, and the surplus gets plowed back into
There's more assets.
more assets. It's a cycle that feeds itself. The assets buy more assets. That's how the rich get richer.
Which leads us right into defining that the rat race.
Yeah, it's that pattern. Get up, go to work, pay bills. Get up, go to work, pay bills, over and over.
Driven by emotion.
Absolutely. Fear and greed, or fear and desire, as he puts it. Fear of being broke makes you work. Then you get a raise, desire kicks in, you want nicer things, so you spend more.
And the cycle just gets faster, and the cage gets maybe nicer, but it's still a cage.
Exactly. You need more money just to maintain the lifestyle. Still trapped.
So lesson 3 for escaping is mind your own business. What does that mean exactly? It sounds like starting a company, but it's broader, right?
It's broader. It means understanding that your profession, your job, how you earn your primary income is different from your business. Your business is your asset column. People struggle because they spend their lives working for someone else's business, building their asset.
Not their own.
Not their own. The analogy used was Rake at McDonald's.
Right, the hamburger guy who wasn't in the hamburger business.
Exactly. He said, my business is real estate. He knew the real asset wasn't the burger franchise itself, but the valuable land underneath it. He focused on acquiring the asset.
So if your job puts you in the E, employee, or S, self-employed category, your real financial focus, your business, should be building assets in the B, business owner, and investor categories.
That's the core idea. Build systems or investments that generate income independent of your direct labor.
And how do you measure progress then? Not just by income.
No, the measure is wealth, defined by Buckminster Fuller, which Kiyosaki adopted. Wealth is how long you can survive if you stop working today.
Okay, so it's your passive income from assets versus your expenses. How many days forward can you live?
Right. If your assets generate enough cash flow to cover your monthly expenses indefinitely, then you're wealthy, regardless of your job status.
Achieving that requires serious discipline, which brings us to paying yourself first. This sounds risky. You pay your asset column before your bills.
It sounds completely backwards, doesn't it? Potentially irresponsible.
Yeah, aren't you just going to tick off creditors?
You probably will.
Mm.
But Rich Dad argued that pressure is good. It's a motivator. If you pay your bills last, the pressure from creditors, from the government, forces your financial genius to wake up.
How so?
You have to find ways to generate more income to cover those obligations. It forces creativity and strengthens your ability to make money. If you pay bills first and have nothing left, well, there's no pressure to grow. Your muscle gets weaker.
So the pressure is actually a learning tool.
A powerful one, according to the philosophy.
Okay, so you need motivation, discipline,
Yeah.
but also skills, financial IQ. This isn't just about wanting it.
Definitely not. Financial IQ, as described, is really a combination of 4 key areas of expertise working together.
Right, the 4 pillars. First is accounting.
Yeah, but really meaning financial literacy. Can you read the numbers, understand financial statement, speak the language of money?
Okay, second is investing.
The science and strategies of money-making money. Understanding different vehicles, risk, return.
Third, understanding markets, supply and demand stuff.
Exactly. Knowing the dynamics of the market you're investing in, economics, trends. Knowing when to buy when everyone else is panicking, for instance.
And fourth, maybe the most powerful leverage point, the law.
This is huge. Understanding tax advantages, corporate structures, how to protect your assets legally. This is where the rich often gain a massive edge.
Which leads directly to the corporation advantage. You explained it as a timing difference.
Fundamentally, yes. Think about how money flows for an employee versus a corporation. The employee. You earn money, the government taxes it immediately through withholding, and then you get to spend what's left.
Earn, tax, spend.
Got it. The corporation, owned by the rich.
Mhm.
It earns money, it spends money on everything legally permissible as a business expense, cars, travel, meals, insurance, you name it, often things an employee pays for with after-tax money.
And then it gets taxed.
And then it gets taxed on whatever profit is left over, which is often much smaller because of all the pre-tax spending.
So employees spend after-tax dollars. The rich, through corporations, spend pre-tax dollars. Wow.
It's a massive legal advantage that accelerates wealth building enormously. It highlights why understanding the law component of financial IQ is so critical.
And this ties into creativity too, right? Inventing money. It's not just following rules.
Not at all. It's about seeing opportunities others miss, structuring deals creatively. Financial intelligence is about finding solutions to problems that can generate wealth.
Can you walk through that real estate example again? Buying distressed properties seemed like a key illustration.
Sure. The idea was finding, say, a foreclosed house available for way below market value. Instead of needing a huge chunk of cash to buy it,
You structure it differently.
right, maybe you secure it with a small down payment or even options. Then find a buyer who wants the house but can't get traditional financing, maybe lacks a down payment. You sell it to them for a higher price, but with seller financing, no money down for them.
Yeah. But where's the asset for you in that deal if you didn't get cash up front?
The asset is the loan you just created, the promissory note. The new owner now owes you, say, $40,000 plus interest, paid over time. You've created an income stream.
Ah, so you manufactured an asset that puts money in your pocket each month.
Exactly. You invented it out of the situation, often with little of your own money tied up, minimal tax consequence initially, and no property management hassle. That's financial intelligence in action, turning a situation into a cash-flowing asset. Added $40K to the asset column in hours.
Incredible leverage. And it really underlines that final point about learning versus earning. Broad skills seem way more valuable than narrow specialization.
Yeah, the argument is over-specialization makes you dependent, vulnerable. Knowing how to manage cash flow, manage systems, manage people, and especially sales and marketing, those broad skills let you build and run the system in the B&I quadrants. You need to work to learn those skills, not just work to earn a paycheck.
Okay, wow. We've covered a ton. We kind of blew up the idea that just having a high income makes you rich.
Definitely not sufficient.
We looked hard at that controversial definition of assets versus liabilities, especially the house.
Crucial difference in perspective.
And we dug into the mindset, the discipline needed to actually break out of that rat race mentality.
Remember, the real measure is survivability. Financial freedom isn't about being flashy. It's when your passive income from assets permanently covers your living expenses. Can you survive without working?
Right. That's the goal. And it connects to overcoming fear, especially the fear of failure, which ironically keeps people trapped. Rich Dad embraced failure as learning. You mentioned Rockefeller.
Yeah, I always tried to turn every disaster into an opportunity. That's the mindset. Failure isn't fatal, it's feedback.
So let's leave everyone with this thought. Think about a financial failure or mistake you might be dealing with right now. Maybe it's debt, a bad investment, a missed opportunity. How could you apply some of this financial intelligence, this different way of thinking to maybe, just maybe, reframe that disaster into your next opportunity to build your asset column?
Great question. Start small, keep learning, focus on building those assets one step at a time.